Good evening, gun nuts. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. Glad you can make it with us. We got a special topic tonight of range etiquette, and we have a special guest with us, NYC Reloader, down here at the bottom. Say hey, Kip.
Hey guys, how are you? Nice to be here.
Well, he spoke, but Chico showed. Anyway, everybody, glad you guys can make it out. Kind of same things. Everybody want to go around and say hi and talk about what we're up to or whatever, and we'll get started here in a bit.
Sure, guys. Thanks for being here. Side chat already. Chico, obviously you guys know me. I'm just happy to be here like always every Friday. We definitely enjoy these Fridays for us. So thanks for having me, and thanks for being here. Side chat.
Good afternoon, everybody. Kyle here. As always, every Friday, thank y'all so much for providing us our weekly waited on entertainment. It's always fun. And trust me, we really appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for having me. And Jamie, what's up?
Well, I've just been waddling through life and getting over the Christmas. Got a little bit of a cold, so y'all please bear with me tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. Nathan, thanks for hosting us. Kevin, thanks for joining us. And always glad to have Kevin around, and always glad to have Chico and Nathan and Kyle, our Georgia brothers, on the. Just been looking forward to the night. What's kind of our group therapy, and I haven't really had the opportunity to study range etiquette like I was wanting to, but we'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Our special guest for the evening.
Hey,
What are you smoking on, sir?
I am smoking a Partagas No. 2. Quite nice cigar. I recommend it to all my friends and school children too.
Very nice, brother. Kevin, tell everybody about yourself.
Sure, I'm the New York City Reloader, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Come from a military household, so traveled all around the world, all around the country, lived in all different spots. I'm sure at one time or another I lived not too far from probably each one of you at one time or another. Kind of funny. I lived about maybe 10 miles away from 243 Outdoors. I've lived in Phoenix. I've lived in Houston. I've lived just about everywhere you can imagine, as well as overseas. So it's I'm a traveling man. That's why you don't detect a heavy New York accent unless I actually cross the border into New York City, and then my accent comes out. And I start talking like this.
I'll tell you, I really appreciate you coming out, brother. First thing I wanted to give a quick shout out to Tim Robertson, Mike Treen, Kyle, of course, Josh over at 243 Outdoors and Ozark Spirit for sending me Christmas cards, guys. I really do appreciate it. It was nice to hear from every one of you. NYC Reloader is funny. One of the things I got for Christmas that I didn't show on the on pictures and such is Catherine got me cufflinks that were made out of the seat plastic from Shea Stadium. So I'm like, that's really cool.
There's only one thing that's better than that. That's the ones made from Yankee Stadium.
Crosstown rivalry going on.
Yeah, that's true. He knows I'm kidding.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you, after this year, we're all going to be. Actually, the rivalry might get a little heated this year.
We'll see. I hope it does.
Go Brace.
Since you ran down all your Christmas cards, I need to do that. I did a video or two, but there were so many of them I couldn't include everybody. I got this one from Georgia Boy 44, Revelations 1, 5 and 6. Y'all look it up and read it. I got this one and some Ozark Spirit salt from Ozark. This was probably the funniest one. Most of all y'all got that one.
That Christmas card was hysterical.
and that seasoning that was a big hit too. I did that on my hind quarter and my pork loin when I smoked it for Christmas. I know, Kevin. I had to light it a lot, right? Kind of like
Yeah.
a Partagas. Got this one from Timothy Robinson, Mr. Emperor. I got this one from my buddy Kyle Lusk, and I got some Lusky swag in here. I'll put it up here with the other one I got. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but right there's my New York City Reloader sticker. I got this from Josh, as most of you guys did. And last but certainly not least, I got one from Cranky Cletus. Then you might have seen a video. I got a comb raising kit from, shall we say, an unknown individual. And then right before Christmas, I got this box. And it's from Preacher's Day Off. He sent me a Gospel Missions book, which I'm going to sit down and read from cover to cover. Sent me some 3030 brass, some possum salt, Preacher's possum salt, and some jerky.
Jamie, have you tried that possum salt yet, brother?
Nice.
I have not.
That possum salt's the best stuff I ever put on a potato. Golly, Bob, it's good. Ozarks is more for meat, but that possum salt is great on some potatoes.
And if I could be so bold, if I can get this rifle up. This is my 35, which y'all have seen in numerous of my videos. And I got the comb rising thing installed. And I mean, it just lays right there. And it's so nice because even when I take these high-rise mounts off and put me get me a scope just as low on that bore as I can, which I intend to do for our fine testing, I'm going to leave that thing on there, that neoprene sleeve, because can you imagine in about 28 degrees in a tree stand, putting that cold wood right next to your face?
Yeah.
That's why I've got one on mine, sir.
It won't feel nice, even with this beard, which I've not shaved since November, so I guess I'm going to have to.
I'm right there with you, man. Right there with you. Mine's filling in pretty good.
It is.
Yeah.
But
Guys, we got a great side chat going, man. There's a lot of people here. Everybody's having a lot of fun. Y'all really don't know how much that all of us guys really appreciate y'all coming out here. We love it. We love it. Thank you.
Hey Willie, how you doing today, sir? We've got, in fact, speaking of the side chat, we've got 25 viewers right now. PC Bullet Empire, Crazy Scotsman, William C. Chapin, Uncle Jim, JCM45, MCK, Fuzzy Fork 8, Willie Bullet Man. Who else we got here? Did I mention? Loaded Cap Gun.
I saw Michael Signs in here.
Yeah, Michael Signs was on here. There's a couple people, Thomas Pickering, who was talking about getting my hair did, and all of a sudden I lose years whenever I get my hair cut, and that is certainly true. I trim the beard and I cut my hair and I get younger. If I lose 10 pounds to where I don't have a gobbler and I shave my beard, I lose another 10. It's ridiculous. But guys, I really appreciate Daniel God is my judge coming out. I appreciate everybody coming out to the side chat, and keep it coming. If you got any questions or comments or whatever, just let us know. I'm sure we're going to do our best to try to get it out here. Please check out Big Al. He just bought for the First Presses Forester coax. Yeah, go ahead and check out Big Al's channel. I saw the Forester coax video. I haven't watched it yet, but go check out Big Al's video for sure. Vanessa Kitty, how you doing? You always make it out. I'm always surprised you're always here. Anyway, Guys, so the first thing on tonight's agenda, I guess, after we get through with our talking about our Christmas cards, probably talk about Christmas a little bit, and then we can get into a little bit of range etiquette if you don't mind. So how was Christmas there in New York?
Oh, it was nice, but I'll be honest with you, I spent most of it in just south of Cancun, so just came back from Cancun. That's why I'm extra dark.
That's why there's a heater behind
No.
you.
Yeah, I'm all dark. Yeah, it was great. So I came home just in time for Christmas and got to spend it with family and friends, and what's better than that, right? A little family, good fellowship, lots of gifts for me. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Can't complain.
Man, I feel you on that. I think from, I guess, being in the military and doing that stuff, and you growing up military, when you're isolated for the holidays and all of a sudden you're not, and you can be around family and friends for these holidays, it makes a big difference. You get the word, that's what you're looking forward to, not kind of the other stuff. But yeah, I definitely agree with you there. What about you, Kyle? What were you up to this Christmas?
Who's that, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, crap. I've got my kids here. We had an amazing get together with the rest of the family at my sister's new house, and of course I made everybody asked me to smoke a ham. I smoked a ham. It's supposed to be a finger food gathering, and there was lots of finger foods. And I get there and see my sister's boyfriend cutting up a turkey. I'm like, what are you doing? And my sister goes, yeah, I think I messed up. We enjoyed it so much at Thanksgiving that I told him I wanted another one for Christmas. And then we decided on finger foods, and he called me 2 days ago and said, come get your turkey. So we had plenty of food. But it was a great time spent with family. And matter of fact, I still have my two boys here. So, yeah, it was awesome. Nobody went to jail. It was great. Chico, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? I enjoyed my Christmas also, man. I played with a lot of Legos and built a lot of Legos and tore them down, and I'm always excited to see my son just open gifts, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? To see the excitement on him, and even though he opened some stuff up on Christmas Eve, because I was asleep, he went in there and was like, oh, he went through a couple of them, and I was like, I had to rewrap stuff. So, but that's his excitement. But other than that, man, I'm good, man. Happy to be here like always, brother.
So, so he's a big Lego guy, huh? You guys did a lot of work with Legos.
Minion Legos, and Play-Doh and Minion Play-Doh. He's a Minion guy. I need to get one of those little Minions like this. A squishy one, because he enjoys the Minions and stuff like that. So
if you have a weekend where you have a Minions movie, whatever they are, Despicable Me, and a Lego movie, it's just like Nirvana for him then.
Yeah, the Minion movie, we watched that 100+ times, and we've got the DVD, and we got it downloaded on the iPads and phones, and it gets most of our, if he's having an issue, Minion settles it all.
Terrific.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
One thing I learned about Legos is I keep giving them to my nephew. My nephew's got like thousands of different Legos, all the different kits, all the different parts. I have to confess, I think I probably enjoy them more than he does. So
I enjoy some Legos.
I start building some stuff.
Speaking of movies, guys,
yeah,
and you Georgia boys, y'all are more than welcome to come on Sunday at 2:00. The best Christmas movie on the planet is playing at the really awesome movie theater with the recliners and the popcorn bucket holder and the drink holder, and you don't have to fight with anybody about a drink holder or an armrest up in LJ. Guess what the movie is?
Christmas Story.
Die Hard.
Christmas Vacation.
Oh yeah.
That's a good Christmas movie.
That particular theater, and my parents live up there, but that particular theater is bringing back all the old Christmas movies. There's Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, color and black and white. I mean, the list goes on and on. They threw Die Hard in there because they know that there's two types of people: those that think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and those that are wrong.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree. Lethal Weapon
Man.
is also is also a Christmas movie because it starts with Jingle Bell Rock.
What is this? What is
Oh, I wanted to get it in. This was my hat for Hat Chat night that I didn't ended up not being able to take part in because I just had busy with other stuff. But yeah.
Okay, guys, if y'all going to put on hats, you're going to have to send Uncle Jim a link.
Then it'll go for 8 hours. The problem.
Yeah, I don't know about an 8-hour chat. I don't think I'm up for that tonight. I think the old lady would probably leave me. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, it's beautiful. I love Christmas. Christmas is my time of year. I'm just so tickled all the time to get to talk to people and be around family. And I was fortunate. I was able to do dinner at my house again this year and have family over. And then on Christmas Eve, we went to her family, and everybody had a great time. I just enjoy the fellowship. It's amazing. And I cleaned up as I saw in that video. I've enjoyed every gift that I got. I'm really appreciative. I can't, you know, I don't know. Can't say thank you enough. I've really enjoyed the Daisy, like being able to actually do load development. I was into Academy actually looking at different types of BBs. Yeah, it's going to get crazy. See what we can do with the old Red Rider.
That's what I commented on Big Al's video. I said, welcome to the family, dude. Be careful. Watch out for the rabbit holes.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
Nathan's going to take a Red Rider down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely. There's like a Molly coated BB. I don't know if you knew this. It's like expensive though. It's like $12 for a little bottle of them. I'm gonna try them.
What do you shoot with them?
Paper target, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see just how small a group I can get. I want to get peep sights for it because it is a lever action, and like you said, having a scope on a lever action sometimes rubs you the wrong way. So if I can get peep sights for it, you know. Right now I'm sub MOA at 10 yards. I want to see if I can get that down to a ½ inch.
I bet you'd be more accurate with some pellets, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the old Red Rider. It doesn't have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Daniel, I said that on his video when he go out.
Yeah, I'll certainly be putting out my eye or somebody's eye. I was worried because I was shooting in the house. I had to try to keep the dogs corralled behind me so I didn't shoot one of them running out in front of me because they ain't smart. Hey, Sean Tierney, glad you can make it, brother. So I'm glad everybody had a really good Christmas. It was pretty decent weather here in Georgia. Today's kind of been real rainy. Yesterday was cloudy. We got a little bit of rain. And today was the day we were going to go to the range, and Loaded Cap Gun was going to try out her CZ that I got her. So, yeah, Scotsman, I got her a CZ 75 BD, and she really seems to like it. Yeah, I was very excited. I'm happy that she's happy. So,
Jesus, Uncle Jim.
what do we got here? Unicorn me later. Yeah, it's a whole. Hey, V-Boy, how's it going? There's a whole new.
Bad.
Oh, and I got a new one for Christmas from my parents gave me. A little Ruhr frog, which reminded me of Blazing Saddles. If you've ever seen that, yeah. Froggy love Daddy. Daddy love Frog. Oh man, so range etiquette. I think there's a little bit of question about what the heck we were talking about. We were talking about is when you go to the shooting range, public shooting range, manners and safety. Etiquette to me kind of goes all encompassing, but I do appreciate that there is a slight difference between just manners and as well as, you know, like for instance, here's a bit of etiquette that some people don't think about, like dude etiquette. Let's say you have 3 stalls when you walk in the bathroom. Do you go to the center one or do you go to the left or the right? You go to the left or the right. It's etiquette. That way, the next guy that walks in, you have a little bit of urinal spacage. You don't go to the center. Say it's just rude. But it's not really a safety issue. Well, I guess it could if you can't aim. But So to me, there's a little bit of difference between just your typical etiquette as far as safety and manners. And I, for one, I love my shooting range, but we have a very wide variety of people that use it. And as such, you see a lot of people that don't understand or don't consider other people. And that comes to be a problem. What do you guys think?
I think if you ever walk into a shooting range, whether it be outdoors or indoors, look up. If there's a bunch of holes in the ceiling right above your head, people aren't following rules.
Yeah, Uncle Jim brought up one. Dude, let me tell you something. I have been to our public range up where we filmed that video with Chico, me, Kyle, and Scotsman. I have had my target shot by other shooters. And when you're working on low development and you're trying to get, and it's happened up there a whole lot more than once. And it just aggravates me to no end. And particularly if they're shooting close to the same caliber. But if it's like one guy, he was this, but he had casted and was loading his own slugs for deer hunting. Well, when a 12 gauge slug hits your target at 100 yards, there ain't no mistaking what it is. I mean, it's a big old 3/4 inch round, as big as Kevin's cigar there, hole in the target. And
well, actually, when we were up there at the range and going to check our targets, somebody's down there critiquing the heck out of the target that I was shooting the Henry at. And I said, guys, if y'all are done looking at my target, why don't you go over there and look at yours?
Nice.
Carter said somebody shot his target in a match.
I've seen that before, though, especially long range matches. I've seen that. Like, I think that could be a little bit difficult when you get out 1,000 yards trying to shoot your target and not somebody else's.
Yeah.
One of the things, my range is a little bit different because it's the range I go to is in an indoor. It's an outdoor range. There's no range master. There's no anything. There's no supervision at all. And you don't really have set bays. You have kind of areas where you're in front of either a line to run out of target or some steel or something. And the first one that gets me is, and this is manners. Before you get out of your car, put your hearing protection on. It's just rude to jump out of your car with your kids and your wife and everything else without any hearing protection on, because nobody's going to stop shooting. And then you have people that do stop shooting, and then they're waiting for you to put on your hearing protection so they can go back to shooting, so that they can get set up and then want to go run out their target. Put your hearing protection on in the car, and then when you get out, you don't have to worry about being deaf or anybody else having to wait on you. And I see that one a lot, and people do it with their kids all the time. And I'm like, put some earplugs on those kids. But anyway.
Well, I'll tell y'all, believe it or not, when I go to my range, the first thing I don't walk in there and say, hey, it's Chico Wise from Dirty South. I never say that. So let's just clear that up now. But I make sure I do when I go in the range. The people who run it, they know me. They know that I reload. But if I was at a range where they didn't know that, that's one reason why I always put my reloads in factory boxes. Because some ranges may or may not allow that. But I make sure I speak to everyone who's inside, behind the counter, especially if they work there. Make eye contact. And like Nathan said, I always have on my ear protection when I walk through the door, even if it's an indoor or an outdoor range. I kind of just have one of them in, cocked to the side or whatever. And I basically am polite. It may be weird. I never, and you guys may think the same, when I go in the range and I see the window and I see people in there shooting, I never want to be in between people. I want to be on the end stall for some weird reason or another. But, I just try to make sure that I'm watching them and I'm watching me, you know what I mean? And I try not to shoot when someone else, especially if they're next to me, if they're shooting at the same time, I kind of want that delay between the shots. I guess that's weird though, kind of.
No, I'm with you on that. That's another kind of manners thing. If the guy next to you or the person next to you is trying to shoot for accuracy and they're getting real serious about it, try not to fire off around, especially if you got like a hand cannon or something like that, while they're squeezing. It's just rude. It's like, I know that's kind of a jerk thing to do because then you're kind of waiting on the other guy and things like that. But just try to be mindful of it. You know, if you got somebody, like you said, that's on the end who's trying to. I had a guy one time, this was years back, at an indoor range shooting a flintlock. I mean, he has every right to be down there as everybody else. But the amount of smoke and sparks and everything, it's like nobody can pay attention to what they're doing because this guy's carrying on over there. You know? And it's not his fault, but it's just kind of one of those things, like try to be, courteous of what the other people are doing.
Damn. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, man, I'm done. That's it.
I hate going to the range and the guy's got a hand cannon just because he can buy one. He thinks it's the coolest thing in the world and has no control over his weapons. He's got the thing raising up, almost pointing backwards at the people on the range when he shoots it. Just kicks it all the way up. It's like, and he's rapid firing, man. He's like boom, 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 boom. Slaps into the magazine. Boom, 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 boom. You see the guy blowing, $200 worth of ammo in one session, and barely hitting the target.
Ammo spazzes are annoying and they're scary.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
We need to always pay attention to our safety rules.
Yeah.
And I don't think I need to run through the 10 commandments of gun safety with this crowd, but one thing I've done that's that I've adopted is every gun is loaded all the time. If you just think like that, you'll avoid a lot of accidents. We had a guy, JCM 45, just wrote something on there. We had a guy at our church, men's ministry skeet shoot. Got his shotgun out of his car, and he's got 3 boys with him. The gun's pointed straight up in the air and has a negligent discharge. With 3 boys in the car with him. And,
he's in the car when it happens?
They were just getting out of the car, and he was pulling the shotguns out. They were right beside him, and he pulled the gun out of the bag and didn't know it was loaded and pointed it straight up in the air and accidentally pulled the trigger. And it was a Browning A5, and it discharged, and everybody around, and there's like 55, 60 guys, but mostly those 3 kids. That could have been, and JCM said he saw the guy blow his toes off with a 12-gauge shotgun right there at the. Every gun is loaded all the time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you'll have to go change your underwear. No.
Here's one that I just noticed. I haven't seen this one before, but how steel's become pretty popular. I mean, when I was a kid, it wasn't like that. At least that popular. I mean, you got guys who were shooting silhouettes and stuff, but that was different. But like shooting big steel. Well, at our range, we've got probably a 3-foot tall. It's about that narrow. It's kind of like a man silhouette thing, and it's at 7 yards. If you have one of those at your range, do not shoot it with a 22. Please. Like, I can't tell you how many times somebody has walked up and went after that thing with a 22, and you're hearing them, swinging around back behind you.
Yeah.
Because they ricochet so damn bad, and that big old steel target isn't going to move. If you got a little swinger or something that's knocking them down the dirt, that's one thing. But one of those big stand-ups, I haven't seen anybody get hit yet, but I've seen somebody go after it with a 22 several different times, and you have to, carefully kind of walk up to them and kind of like, hey, don't do that. Yeah.
It still needs to be sloped at an angle, I think. pointing toward where it ricochets into the ground.
Yeah, and this thing's actually it's at an angle, Jamie, but it's at an angle the wrong way, not towards the ground. It's actually towards the sky. It's just the way this thing's set up, and it doesn't seem to be a big deal with bigger calibers because they just explode whenever they hit it. But those little 22s, for whatever reason, they catch craters from people shooting it with with rifles and stuff, and it gets crazy. Oh yeah, and if you got steel at your range at like 15 feet, try not to shoot that with a high powered rifle. It's probably not made for that. But
I can't believe to say that.
Yeah, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody come down there with a 7.62 AR or something like that and go after one of those things, and it's like whoa. That's meant for pistols. But there's nobody down there to tell anybody, and I think a lot of people aren't getting the training from their parents like I did. I think so many new firearms enthusiasts are the first generation of them in their house.
Yeah.
And I guess it's our deal to learn how to tactfully try to explain to people that what's acceptable.
It's the same people that you go hunting with, and you see these weekend warriors out there from the city who never really shot guns before. Now they're going hunting, and they're shooting at something, and they take 6 shots at something. It's like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you 6 tapping a deer? What the hell's the matter with you? 1 shot, 1 kill, done. Just open fire on it, and the deer runs away with a bunch of holes in it. It's like, what are you doing? That's why you go to the range to practice, right? So you don't wound an animal. I hate that.
I actually go shooting with a lot of vets, and we tend to make it like a monthly outing, if not more than that. And my friend Nathan, who's a Marine, was shooting at a steel target with a brand new, what's the little bitty, teeny tiny Glock 45.
Mm-hmm.
Glock
Well, it's like 43 or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is. But anyway, he's shooting at that. And we're at like 25 yards maybe. And he shoots at it, and I just happen to look down, and I'm bleeding. I'm like, Nate, you shot me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I pulled my shirt up, and I was bleeding like hell. I'm like, can you come get this piece of Full Metal Jacket out of my stomach? But it's shooting steel, you need to be using, what the one
Frangible
powder when you hit there.
Frangible.
Yeah, frangible bullets.
I hate those.
Don't be using Full Metal Jackets. That stuff will come back and bite you.
So the range we went to is kind of like what you were describing, Nathan. It's owned by the state wildlife commission, and it's no range guys there. We kind of police ourselves, and invariably you get some new guys, and y'all probably got a kick out of one of my 35 Remington videos. A guy was teaching his girlfriend to shoot his AK, and they were shooting it at the pistol range, and I had my target set up at 25 yards, which is what I'm doing my testing at, and I had big chunks of mud caked on my target. Do y'all remember that video?
Yeah.
And one thing that aggravates me up there is it seems like sometimes every 5 seconds somebody's hollering, cold, let's go cold range, like that, Then it may seem like it goes on for 2 hours before you can go check your targets. There's Georgia boy. Hey, Pastor. But Kevin, take a minute. Tell us about the ranges up in New York, if there are any.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot. It used to be a lot more, but they're not a whole lot. The problem is the one by me has 25 lanes and maxes out at 100 yards. And it's expensive. It'll cost you about $40 for an hour, which is pretty expensive, I think. We have some outdoor ranges, but you got to be a member of those clubs, and they're not cheap. It's like $600 a year. I'm sure a lot of those places by you are probably a lot cheaper. And you have to deal with all the people just shooting guns off in an unsafe manner. So I try to pick my range where you've got a qualified range master to keep that kind of stuff under control, because you don't need anything flying back at people, you know. But yeah, it's you got these guys come in with their concealed carries, how they got them, what class they took, I don't know, but they have no sense of range etiquette whatsoever. They're just self-absorbed for themselves and flinging lead everywhere, and with no understanding of which target's theirs, and if there's any ricochets back when they're shooting across lanes and stuff. That's when you run into a problem, when you're shooting across lanes at an angle, because a lot of these backstops by us are all rubber, designed to absorb the bullet into them, and when you shoot at an angle, you're going to hit a wall, and that shit's going to bounce back. And it does. Once the range officer sees 3 or 4 bullets, flying backwards, he shuts down and says, "What the hell's going on? Who's shooting that way?" It's hard to figure out who's doing it.
Are these indoor or outdoor? It sounds like indoor.
Most of them are indoors. Again, there are some, but you got to be a member of the club. And the ones that are club are really snooty. They're clubhouses, You see the guys with the shotguns that are, $5,000 or $6,000 a piece, and high-end weapons, but people just don't have a clue how to shoot them. Brass flying everywhere. Yeah, it can get kind of crazy. It's not like some of the range I've seen, down south where I've shot and enjoyed myself, where everybody's that same kind of mindset. So yeah, we call them city trash. Shh, not a good thing to say, but that's what we call them. I used to be a member of a hunting lodge growing up since I was 11 years old with my uncle. And we'd go up to the lodge, and it was great when it was like 10, 12 people that owned this lodge. And they decided to have dreams of grandeur and make it really, really large. And they had to invite new people into it. So we got these Wall Street types coming out there with all these weapons and craziness and shooting stuff. And anything moves, they turn around and shoot it. It's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Open fire on a bush. They don't even know what's in the bush, and they're opening fire. It's like, what are you doing? So that's why I stopped being a member of that particular lodge. It's all about the people that you're shooting with. You have to trust them.
Yeah, MCK's got a pretty sweet range, $7 an hour. That's what we do at the indoor range. Of course, it maxes out at 25 yards.
Yeah.
And there's not really a range officer. I mean, John comes in there every once in a while, but he's a good. I really like him. We got to do an interview with him and do a video to plug his place. I've seen pictures of it and some footage in my videos if you watch them. And yeah, at an indoor range at the one we go to up here, picking up brass is not allowed. That's like extra money that helps John keep the doors open for us to come in there and shoot for some. Now, when we go to the outdoor public range, which is free, like Scott was saying, that Tennessee has the same setup we do, Nathan. It's free. We pay $5 to park, so you can take a carload up there for $5. You can stay all day if you want to, but you got to put up with the idiots. And did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. There's also a place kind of like what Kevin was talking about. It's called the Floyd County Wildlife Association. It's pretty expensive. I think it's like $350 maybe once a year. I'm not sure, but they've got like 21,000 acres of hunting property. They've got a range that goes out to 300 yards.
Yeah.
They have a fishing lake, and you can camp anytime. And it's pretty neat. I'd like to join it, but I just don't have that kind of money laying around. Plus, it's about an hour drive from my house. It's way up in the farthest part of Floyd County and way up in that north arm that goes nearly to Tennessee. But I would love to do that. I think it's out to 600 yards. So that would be fun if we could afford to do that. That's something I'm building toward anyway. But when we go up to the public range, I always ask if I can pick up the brass. I don't just go picking up brass, but if you don't pick it up, it's just going to get swept up and thrown in the garbage can. So And I'm not against dumpster diving up there either. I'll go in there and get some brass if I need it. And I've seen some of my hauls from that place, but I always ask first and try to be considerate of what other people's. And if you at a place like that and you see somebody that's struggling, if you can help them, please help them. It helps our reputation as gun owners and shooters. You don't have to offer to help. Some guys are just going to see that you know what you're doing, and they're going to start asking you questions.
I definitely agree with what Jamie's saying. I'm no professional, but I do practice safety because, I mean, you guys see me. I'm 130 pounds soaking wet. When I come into the range, I'm 130 pounds. When I leave, I want to be 130 pounds. I don't want any holes in me. I don't want to lose any blood. But sometimes I'm at the range, and I try to go on those times where a lot of people are at work, doing those odd hours. It's like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning ish when they first open, or during lunch when everybody's eating. And if I go to a range, and it's happened plenty of times, my etiquette goes out the door when my safety's at risk, because I'll see people, for instance, at the firing line, and if they have a malfunction in their weapon, whether it be a rifle or pistol, and they step off that firing line to clear their malfunction, my niceness and the likable person I am goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Step back to the line. And if they're not comprehending what I say it a little more, not aggressively, but a little more demanding. And if it happens more than one time, I'm actually, talking to the people at the range. My range does have range officers, but I don't think they take it seriously. So I'm paying attention to everybody else. Like, I'm no professional saying, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this. I was like, when I come in, I come in with no holes. When I leave, that's how I want to leave, with no holes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand what Jamie's saying. People ask me sometimes, hey, can you mind showing me something? And I'm like, sure. I'm flattered sometimes, but I never just offer my advice, because some people take that the wrong way. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Problem is, they're $40 an hour for a range. It cuts into your time because you're helping everybody out. I'll wind up helping everybody out, and half my time is gone.
Right.
And a half hour helping people, and it just cost me $20. And I didn't get a chance to shoot my rifle. Hey, can you help me zero my gun in? Because I ain't even on paper yet.
But you left with no holes, which is good. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now I understand that, though, the time wise and money.
Well, as long as everybody has a good time, I'll help people out at the range. There's been a lot of times I go up to the range to shoot in something, sight something in, or try out new loads and all that stuff. I never even shoot my gun, because there'll be some people there that need some serious help, and I'll just start doing that, and then I'll leave and feel just as satisfied, because I know they're not going to make the same mistakes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't paying $40 an hour for the range.
No, I had a membership, so yeah, I wasn't paying nothing. Well, yeah. I paid $200 a year. So.
Yeah, I've got the range I go to down here has a membership, and right now mine's lapsed, and it's $10 an hour. It's not too bad, and all the brass really that you can pick up damn near. The only thing is, like Jamie said about the range going cold issue, that's another etiquette thing. When you set up your target, try to set up enough that you can go for a while, because like what NYC Reloader said, if you're paying dollars per hour, look, $10 might not seem like a lot to me, but like my dad, to spend $10-$20 to go shooting, that's kind of a big deal for him. And if he spends half that time waiting for you to go get your damn target and put another one up, that's really not fair. And so try to, when you put your target up, make sure that you can shoot for a while. If you're in that situation where, you have to hold the range to go check your target. Fortunately, the range has just put up like some contraption-esque lines to where you can run your target in and out for a couple lanes. And that's helped as long as they're working. But that also means everybody's jamming up on one end of the range. But what are you going to do?
The ranges by us are pretty high tech, really high tech. With you dial in, you go to the control panel, and you put in how many yards you want it to go out, and it brings it back or sends it out automatically. That's kind of nice. But you always get the people that shoot the carriers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a new range that just opened up. It's all robotic, where it comes and sweeps the floor into these grates, and it grabs all the casings and stuff, and sweeps it into some 55-gallon drums, and cleans it all up. I use a Caldwell brass catcher on all the weapons that I shoot, so I catch all my brass because I want to reload it. And,
yeah, I mean, for those that are in those situations, that's probably the way to go. I know Willie's in kind of that boat, and I'd hate for him to ever end up getting pushed out of his range because of that, because of what is basically, to me, just complete nonsense law or rule. But I mean, I've seen that before. I think our range, when I was in Delaware, I think it had some rules like that about picking up brass, but I just think we ignored it too.
I won't even acknowledge that. It's my brass. I brought it here. I'm taking it home too.
Yeah, I'm
not taking any of yours. I'm just taking mine back.
I've had the range master at a place give me a hard time because I'm catching all my brass. Oh, what are you doing? I said, I'm catching my brass. I'm going to reload it. He goes, oh, most people leave it here. I said, yeah, I know, but I don't leave money on the floor.
Right. I'm not most people.
I already paid you once. I don't have to do it again.
All right.
Well, that's what most of these guys at these indoor ranges expect. They expect you to come in. They expect you to pay your range fee. They expect you to buy your ammo from them. And then they expect you to leave the brass on the ground so they can go and pick it up and sell it to somebody like North Georgia Reloading that's going to clean it and reload it and sell it again.
Well, it's like Governor's Gun Club. You have to buy your ammo from them, and you're not allowed to pick up nothing. It's graded floors. You're not going to get it. They do not allow brass catchers. And I'm like, this is crazy, you know.
When is the last time you've been there, Kyle?
The what?
When was the last time you've been there?
I hadn't been to the new facility.
Right.
The one in the office park. I'm talking about the one over halfway
Hiram.
between Kennesaw and Hiram.
Yeah.
Or wherever it was, but it was graded floors, and you had to buy the ammo from them. And I was like, Jesus, what's the cost to inhale in here?
Yeah. Any place that tells me that I got to use their ammo is the place I'm not going to shoot at.
I agree. I definitely agree. I'm not doing business with you if you're telling me I can't pick my own brass up. And I've been to a range down here by me. It's fairly popular. It's called Adventure Outdoors. Their floors are graded, and when I go in there, they like, oh, where the hell's the cardboard? Because they know I'm gonna ask for a piece of cardboard. I put it over that grate. I cannot make this up. I put it over the grate, and as long as it doesn't go in the grate, because if it does go in the grate, it's a super awesome system if you ask me. Whoever thought of it? Because the grate has a funnel or something up under it, and it's got 5-gallon buckets up under, and they just rank up on it. But I'm like, nah, I'm taking all my brass with me, or I'm not gonna pay you $16 an hour to use your range.
Right.
And they're fine with that, but I'm not going to any range where they tell me I have to buy their ammo neither. I'm sorry, you won't get my
right.
business.
That's why I looked at Jordan and I said, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I'm going home.
Yeah.
You won't get my business, and I'm also gonna tell people, and a lot of people are gonna tell some other people, and a lot of other people are gonna tell a lot of other people, and you probably won't get a lot of business. That's how I look at it, about word of mouth kind of thing. But
there's a reason I haven't been to the Governor's Gun Club that's 385 feet from my front door that I work at.
Yeah.
I haven't been down there at all. I'm not even studying it.
Yeah, some ranges are not for the. Don't get me wrong; they're all about the money. You know what I mean? But some of them, I don't agree. I look at some ranges membership fee, and I'll see one. The range I go to normally all the time, it's $12 all day. It's $12 all day. Granted, their ventilation system sucks. There's not an active range officer on the line, but I'm always watching it. Normally when I'm normally going in there early in the morning or doing my lunch, and it's not crowded. But $12 all day, I can shoot as long as I want. If I go to Governors, it's like $16 an hour. If I go to Adventure Outdoors, it's like $16 an hour. But you know,
you need to come up here to Taylorsville, out there
you
by
got
Plant.
now at the range where I shot my chrono, it was like $7 all day.
But it
And-
cost you 150.
Yeah, it cost me like $80, you know, and but yeah, I like the smaller ranges. If you guys ever seen that video where I was at that range shooting all that steel, now that was South Georgia, about an hour away from me, and it was like $7, but I was just shooting steel. They had them at 100 yards. They had them at,
Chico, South Georgia is more than an hour away from you, unless you're.
it's not. Well, I'm be riding because I've been in the dirty South, you know. That's how I roll.
It ain't that south.
Nah, it's like Griffin. If you guys familiar with Griffin, Georgia, so it's like 30 minutes south of Griffin, I think. But
I go to range in Georgia in Jessup. I don't know if you know the MA Customs gun range in Jessup, Georgia.
I know where
I've
Jessup
heard it.
is. I don't know that range.
I do a big corporate junket every year with my entire company. They come in from all over the world, from all over the U.S., Canada, Europe, and Australia, and they come in and I take them to practice some of the Second Amendment rights that we have here in the U.S. and I take them shooting, bring a bunch of guns up. They rent a bunch of guns. Cool thing is they get to shoot some automatic weapons there too at that range. They got a bunch of different machine guns that people can rent, which is kind of nice.
It's over there by Georgia Boy, isn't it?
No.
No, Jessup's down here, buddy. It's
Oh, okay. All right. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
Jessup's-
There's
just
a
as
range
easy to hear a fair clip.
You can have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place. Good place.
Nathan host and we chat. We thank you for letting us on your world, Nathan.
No, man, I'm just glad. I like sitting here listening to everybody talk, man. This whole thing to me, range etiquette is such a big deal, and it makes everybody's life better when everybody kind of knows what to expect. I mean, the number one thing I think Chico hit on it, I think Jamie did, and everybody else did, is that when you're at the range, your gun points down range.
Exactly.
All the time.
I've seen
All the time.
I've seen a lot of people break that. Most often, the ones that I see the most often are inexperienced shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Either the occasional person who has a hard time racking the gun, and instead of being able to just rack it like this, they want to get up close to their body and they're pointing down, the lane, or like my grandmother. I think this thing is broken. But yeah, that's the big one, man. Is keeping that thing pointed down range at all times.
And keep your finger off the trigger. Just keep
Yeah,
the trigger
yeah.
going.
Finger on the trigger only when you're ready to for the gun to go off. For dang, I'm sure. And if you have a problem, here's a good one that I would say: if you have a problem and your gun is malfunctioned, I highly recommend. And this doesn't even really go to etiquette, but I just recommend it. Set it down.
yes,
Set it down, point it down range, and collect yourself. Because too often I see people that are, I don't know the right term, and I don't want to be demeaning. They have a malfunction, a stovepipe, something simple, and they're trying to clear it as fast as they can to make out like they're in some kind of combat situation, and they're pointing the gun in your ear. They're being really unsafe for no reason. If you have a malfunction and you can't be calm about it, set the thing down, look at it, figure out what's going on, clear the malfunction, and then get back to work. If you're having to beat on your gun after every round, put it back in the box. Because something's broke.
Yeah, take it to somebody that knows a shit ton more about guns than you do.
Or they don't clean it.
Exactly.
They don't clean their weapon. That's the problem. You see it's all covered with gunk and crap. What are you doing taking a gun like that to the range? Every other round, stovepipes. It's like, what are you doing? Can you help me get this case out of here? Yeah.
Yes.
Put it back in the
And
box and we get home.
that's
Clean
when
it.
you clear their weapon. You clear their weapon, put it back in the case, say, put that in your truck. That'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
How about?
here's one that
Oh,
I
sorry. Go ahead.
that actually is a serious range etiquette thing. If you're at a range that does not have bays, and when I mean bays, I mean walls next to you, so you're not stuck up in a bay, and you have a 380 like a Walther or something like that, get to the right of the range, because nothing is more irritating than having one of those things constantly throwing brass at your head when you're trying to shoot.
You talking about the person at the right?
Yep. If somebody's to the right of you,
Getting
you are
rained
going
on?
you're going to shower them with brass because those things eject right out the right. Like my 45 ejects some out the right, but most of them it goes straight back.
Yeah, behind
Most
me.
most guns, most Glocks, things like that kind of go back into the right. But like those Walthers and stuff like that shoot almost directly out to the right. And 380s seem to be the worst for it.
Yeah, some hot rounds down your shirt, no fun.
Yep. Or worse, which I have seen on several different occasions, and this brings up another one. If you're wearing safety glasses, make sure they are close to your face.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have seen on several occasions a case coming into somebody going in between their glasses and their eye and getting stuck there and burning them.
What has happened to the side chat? Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I'm not even going there. I'm not
I
even.
can't see it.
Okay.
Guys, if you
Yeah.
want to talk about that stuff, that's fine.
Braves.
I don't have any problem. I recommend starting up a live chat about it if that's something you're interested in. Just don't beat the same horse over and over and over again. It's dead. Let it die. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we
They're objecting to my NRA hat.
don't care. That's everybody's got their own opinion, and that's cool, but that's just an opinion.
Well, look, I got something to get everybody's nerves worked up a little bit. How about this? Have y'all seen the video where the two guys were at the range and they was taking pictures? They was selfieing, and the dude points the gun at the other guy's head to take a picture?
Yeah,
I've seen
that
that.
part.
Make me cringe just being a gun owner, and it put such a negative notion on guns. But stupid people are stupid. It don't matter, where they're at. It made me, every time I watch it, I'm like, dummy. And the range officer jumped in and saved the guy. He put him out, and I definitely understand that. But I'm
Chico,
like,
that's the smartest thing I've heard all damn day. Stupid people are stupid.
they are. Stupid people are just stupid,
Thank you so much.
I'm-
That made my.
I'm trying to
night
say
right
that in the
there.
most PGest way, just in case there are some younger people on here. But yeah, man, that gives
That's
a bad.
why I thought it was so funny. Stupid
just
people
gives-
are just stupid.
It gives the gun community or the whole thing about owning guns, because just think if something would have happened to me, they'll say, hey, look, see, this is why people don't need to own guns. It's like, no, these are two stupid people that are, you know what I mean? You get my drift. But yeah, man, that's etiquette goes out the window. Just like, it's more like putting my foot in somebody's rear. You know what I mean? Something like that.
And like Big Man's Outdoors says, you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, you can't, man. It's just.
Yeah, dude, it's hard, man, because I've seen some of those ranges that are getting really nitpicky to try to beat stupid, like having to have like chamber flags and stuff in there like that. And it's like, man, the more steps you put between you and toast, the less stupid people are able to negotiate it.
Yeah.
Like you can't. I'm with you, man. You can't beat that. Like somebody that doesn't have the capacity to do things safely, you're not going to be able to put more regulation in to help them. You just gotta ask them to leave.
When I was a member out there at the Taylorsville Range, which is a great place, and the Jeff, the guy that owns the property, he's a great guy. The guys that work there are great guys. They are chamber flag friendly. They're looking for that. And I'm sitting there and I'm having a problem with a pistol, and it's got a chamber flag in it. And I turn around and I go past the red post, and this damn I don't know, soapbox warrior or whatever he is, thinks he's a range officer and starts to climb my ass about it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit. This is how outraged I was. And I was like, all right, excuse me there, Tonto. Do you not see this yellow piece of plastic in the damn chamber? Do you think it's possible for a round and this plastic thing to fit in the chamber, still closed, and have this flag sticking out of it? I'm pretty sure it's a safe weapon.
Yeah, but that's
And he
what chamber.
politely asked me to leave.
That's where chamber flags are a problem, man. A chamber flag to me is like a crosswalk, right? It teaches bad habits. You still have to look both ways.
Well, the thing about it is, I wouldn't have used the damn chamber flag if I wasn't at that range.
Yeah, I know.
It is empty. There's no magazine in it. It's clear. I'm trying to fix a problem. I put the chamber flag in there so I could turn around and go over here and work on my gun.
Yeah. It's hard, man. But I think the chamber flag does that. I think it leads people to believe that, like, when they're no longer in the position where they have to use it, that it's okay to just kind of to move their gun out of the lane or down the lane because it's empty.
That is a very good point, Nathan. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
I just stuck a chamber flag in there because I'm at a public range.
Yeah.
I want you to know that there's nothing in the chamber. And this guy went batshit. I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Warsaw.
There's obviously nothing in it. Hello.
Yeah.
The Warsaw Patriot brought up a funny one, is shooting his paper hanger, and I think I've told this story before, but I've got a little 32 Smith & Wesson that's very, very hard trigger pull, and I took it to the range. This was in Illinois when I was living there, and first shot, it had one of those little PVC paper hangers. First shot, busted that thing in a million pieces. Target all floating to the ground, looking like a dumbass. I was already nervous because I was like, I don't know, 19, 20. It was like one of the first times I really had been to an indoor shooting range by myself. And I don't know why, but I was kind of like nervous about the whole operation. And it was like a sheriff shooting range, and I don't know why. So the first thing I did was shot that. So don't feel alone, man. I've definitely done that before. And it's always embarrassing, but yeah, what are you going to do?
They require a chamber flag, on the ranges by us. And a lot of the ranges, to get rid of the crazy people, they've banned rapid fire. You have to have between 2 seconds between rounds, and you can't put more than 5 rounds in your magazine. So,
yeah, they do that all, and I'm okay with that. If I want to go have fun, I'll go drive to the shooting property and have a bunch of fun. And Uncle Jim, there was no sweeping. It was a totally empty, cleared, safe firearm that was pointed at the ground, and the guy went batshit over it.
I hate when people show up for the range and they didn't have their gun in a bag and they're just walking from the parking lot right into the store with the AR, with the magazine fully loaded. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
where's your bag for that? It's like, oh, I didn't bring the bag. I just brought my gun and my magazines. Well, was that loaded AR? So you're bringing a loaded AR into so you're lucky we didn't shoot you.
Right.
Correct.
That's the kind of stuff that you want to get shot. That's what gets people shot.
The other thing Warsaw said when I was holding up the revolver and showing you, hold your finger outside, he said, tell people not to hold their hands around both sides of the cylinder because the fire's going to blow out. And
They'll figure that out on their own.
That's what I'm getting at. We should probably mention that, but they'll only do that once.
Right.
It makes me laugh when people have the like a 45 or a 9mm, and they've got a big Glock, and they get their bad hand position. They get their skin in front of the slide, and the slide comes back and bites, and the guy's bleeding everywhere. I don't know what happened. I think a bullet bounced back. I said no.
They get the snake bite right there.
Yeah. And the guy that got it was a profuse bleeder. It's like blood, like one of those Saturday Night Live things where the blood shooting out everywhere. Like
Nice.
blood shooting everywhere. It's all over the gun and all over the guy in the range. It's like, oh, a bullet must have bounced back. I said, no, man, your gun just slipped back and parted your skin for you automatically.
Jamie, you reminded me of another thing I've seen before that, while I don't think is super important for safety, for etiquette reasons, it can be a little bit annoying. if you have an indoor range with kind of cruddy lighting, leave your 357 maximum at home because you're blinding people on both sides of you.
Yeah.
And you're 44.
44s will do it too, but or anything if you have something that has a big cylinder gap or something like that, that I mean, even my 357 4-inch, if you have like a 2-inch 357 mag with some hot like loads and stuff, you can throw out a heck of a lot of a flame ball, and it blinds everybody. And it's just kind of etiquette reasons, It's like if you're the only one in there, then nobody cares. But if you're blinding the person next to you, it's kind of rude.
Last time me and Jamie were at the range, I forget he was shooting a 357, but I dropped everything that I was doing and I stuck my head around the wood and went, "The hell was that?"
Yeah. Hey, Ozark Spirit, glad to see you, brother. That same indoor range that I shot the holder. I saw a guy. I think he was a reloader. He was shooting 38 specials out of like a sub nose that were like sounded ridiculously hot at like 4 or 5 yards and caught his target on fire.
Jeez.
And he didn't know what to do, so it just sat there and burned, man. Like,
have you ever gone to the range and the guy's missing the thing at like 25 feet and he brings the target all the way back? It's literally like 3.5 feet. There's gunpowder all over the target. And he's shooting. He's, well, I can't shoot. You can't shoot center unless it's like 3 feet or 4 feet from me. It's like, dude, okay.
Your gun's broken, or you don't know how to shoot. Either one, bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teaching other people to shoot, that's a whole brand of gun etiquette and range etiquette.
Yeah.
And look, guys, I know sometimes we see things on YouTube and we don't think things through. Handing large guns to people who are not, not seasoned is a bad idea.
Even
It's
though
not
you
funny.
think the outcome is going to be funny, it's not. It'll be funny to you, but no, that's inviting hurt into somebody's life, and you're not in charge of that.
Yeah, she can drop it, or he can, like it. What was there was all over the range that. What was the name of that gun? That giant rifle that I'm gonna say Middle Eastern fellow shot that knocked him all back and blew the glass out. It's funny.
Or some shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but say that stuff's funny, but it's dangerous and it teaches horrible habits. And it can ruin shooting for them. Now, I mean, if you're with your buddies and you're out there and you got a buddy that's running his mouth off and you hand him a 500 Smith & Wesson because he's shot everything, then you know what? So be it. But when you're in an indoor range or you're at a range with other people, I'd knock that down. I got a question about chamber flags. I don't know a lot about them, brother. They're kind of not my animal. If I was going to be at a match, I personally don't care. I would use a plastic one. I don't think I would want any kind of metal, even if it is brass, up into my chamber and stuff. It's just not kind of what I would do. I'd probably use a plastic one. But that's because I just don't care. I don't like them. I personally think they're unsafe because I know the situation my gun's in, and having that little thing there just is, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Gives me one other thing to think about. I don't need to be thinking about.
I'm not even typing this. Patriot, yes, that is funny, but that's not the purpose of this video.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, dude. I mean, I've seen a lot of weird videos out there, and then people replicate. I hate to say this. Look, stupid people go out and do things that they see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go try to replicate this stuff,
And
Yeah.
I have seen this on several occasions. Like, I remember taking loaded cap gun to the range and getting dirty looks because I was handing her my 45 ACP. But she knows how to handle one, and like she shoots well. But I mean, I've seen on different occasions people handing full house 44 mags, like at a Model 69 or something, to a young lady that's never really shot before. How's that going to help her? I mean, that's just, I don't know.
I've seen people take 7mm Magnum, 7 mag Thompson Center contenders, with like an 8-inch barrel and handing to people that's never shot anything. And I'm like, are you stupid?
Yeah. One, just
What could go
having that
wrong?
is kind of stupid. But yeah, they make some ridiculous guns, man. And anyway, it's for etiquette purposes. Don't do that stuff, especially when you got other people around. Remember that you're probably going to ruin the shooting experience for whoever you're doing it to. And two, if you got other people around, it's unsafe because they can drop the firearm, and a whole number of things. What was that? I think there was a story back not that long about one girl who put a hammer through her head and killed her. It's not worth it.
Well, you know, that brings me to something that I was going to save till at the end to bring up. But one thing we need to be aware of, whether we like it or not, whether we realize it or not, is that we are always ambassadors of the shooting sports.
Absolutely.
When we go somewhere and people know that we shoot or whatever, just be aware that there's some people out there that want to take your stuff. They would feel better if nobody had guns, period, except police and the military.
That's a very good point, Jamie.
There's some political stuff going on earlier in the side chat about NRA, GOA. Yeah, I'm with New York City. I'm a life member of the NRA, but I joined before they went off the deep end, and I really don't want to get into that. And I'm just not a political person. I choose to leave that part of my life. I'm an educated voter, but at the same time, when we're out, we'll go to a gun store, anywhere where people know who and what we stand for. We need to be, what's the word? We need to be conscientious of what they may think of us as individuals, as gun owners, as hunters,
We need no bad press.
Right. Yep. They need to realize that hunters are the number one conservationist of wildlife in the world. Period. Mm-hmm. And we need to be good ambassadors for our shooting sports, our right to own and keep and bear arms, our right to reload, to pick up that brass at the range, to get those wheel weights, to all that stuff. People are watching us. And if we like go into a tire shop, you show your backside to people because they won't sell you any wheel weights. There's a little old lady or a mother of 3 kids, and those kids may be big enough to understand what's going on, and what a butthole that guy wanting those wheel weights, where I ain't never going to own a gun. I don't want to be nothing like those people. Don't be that guy. And, you know, that's might be a little stretch from range etiquette, but, you know, it goes all the way back down to, you know, you and I don't want to stir up a hornet's nest, but we all support our Second Amendment, or we wouldn't be here. Yep. How we choose to do it is an individual decision, and I want to support mine in all the ways that I can. Yep. And some ways may be better than others, and that's just remember that people are watching us and they are looking for ammo to fuel their fire.
I like the educational programs that the Gun Owners Association of America has and the NRA. I learned to shoot on the NRA range, and I did my Eddie Eagle when I was a young boy. And, you know, that's why I like the programs. I like anybody who's going to promote that kind of stuff and promote gun safety and run classes and that kind of stuff. I think that's the good side of it. The bad side is nobody's going to agree with my politics 100% because they're my politics, right? But it's a big inclusive tent. Everybody's got their rights to believe what they believe. Not everybody's going to have the same faith as me. Not everybody's going to have the same political leanings that I do. So I welcome everybody. Everybody's got an opinion. That's what we fought for, right? That's why we put on a uniform and defend this country, so that people can have the rights to bear arms or choose not to. My problem is, if you try to take my rights away, those rights were given to me by spilled blood. And you're not going to come take my gun away. You're not going to write some law and turn me into a criminal overnight. I live in New York State. I'll modify my gun to stay in legal, out of legal jeopardy, and I'll make the change that I have to make. I may not like it, but I have to comply because I'm not a criminal. I don't want to be a criminal, and I do everything I can to keep our rights. But I live in a state where we've got too many people that believe that the cops are going to show up and save them, and that happens on TV, but don't happen in real life. Cops draw chalk outlines of people. They don't come and save you when somebody breaks into your house. Right down the road from me, about 2 miles, is Orange County Choppers. I don't know if you guys watch that TV show or not, but good bunch of guys. And the guy, Paul Tuttle Sr., had a home invasion about 3 years ago. And they came at the house, about 6 or 7 guys with guns, and they tied him up, and they had the wife going out to the bank and pulling out money from the bank every day. They pulled out $9,500 every time she went to the bank. And finally, after about 5 visits, the guy got wise that something was going on, and he called the cops and said, "Hey, there's some weird behavior going on." So they followed her back to the house, and they went ahead and they took these guys out, arrested them. Bunch of gunplay going on. So
no shit, I had never heard that.
Because here's the thing. I mean, I on my property, I don't mean to sound like I'm paranoid, but I've got motion sensors, I've got cameras, I've got a high-end security system, I've got armed response that comes to my house when there's a problem. So, and I work from home, so I'm here most of the time. But I still, if I'm traveling, I want my wife to be safe. I want my wife to know where the guns are and be able to protect herself. And I don't want to rely on the police. They're going to show up an hour after you call them.
Mm-hmm.
You need to defend your house. You need to defend your house. And people say, well, New York doesn't have castle law. Well, I don't care about castle law. I don't want to go to the cemetery. So, and if somebody comes into my house, well, I'm a God-fearing man, and thou shalt not kill, but doesn't tell me I can't protect my home and stop people in my home from being murdered or killed or worse. So, I have to defend my property, and it's my castle, and it's my responsibility as the head of the household to make sure, my house is safe. So, people don't want to have that right to do that. That the people that don't have a gun when something happens wish they did. Sure wish they did. Even a shotgun. Just get a shotgun, protect your house.
Yeah, there's a really good Paul Harrell video about shotgun home defense that I liked. One of the things that Jamie brought up, and it kind of reminded me of it down here. This is, I'm not going to say common, but it's probably more common than I would certainly like. This goes with being a good ambassador as well as range etiquette. Don't drink and shoot. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Like,
recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's down here. You see it some, but mainly what you see at my range is people showing up already lit. Now back when I was a kid, you would see people drinking and shooting. It's just not worth it. Down at the I've heard stories because my range is somewhat closed, meaning that you have to go up to a desk and you pay or you sign in if you're a member, then you go down. But it's not a strictly membership. Well, there's another one down the road that's like what you're talking about, Jamie. It's part of the it's a wildlife refuge or whatever the hell it is. And I've heard stories that people showing up drunk and drinking and carrying on and shooting shit. Shooting up in the air. One of the things Warsaw said, shooting straight up in the air. I used to see guys all the time doing this. Is they would go down and they would use a hand thrower and a clay and throw it up in the air and try to shoot it with an AR. It's like,
oh, goodness.
It's just
one of the big things down here, and I'm sure y'all guys will agree. Opening day of dove season is September the 1st. It's usually the first day or the first weekend, first Saturday of September, which is also opening day of college football season. So it's a real big party day down here. People take their cooler and sit out there in the dove field, and then later on they watch the football game, and it's just a day of drinking. But I don't. Y'all know me. I don't drink at all. I'm a teetotaler. I don't touch it.
Me too.
And I would never. Even back when I was drinking, I didn't drink and shoot. That's just
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind drinking from time to time. I'll tell you one that I used to be bad about. And this isn't range etiquette. Is smoking while I was reloading. I couldn't. It was like a thing, man. Like I almost always, and other people, man, if they see you, they'll jump all over you. I'm like, man, I ain't never caught anything on fire, but I always did it. It was such a bad habit. But I never drank and shot. That was not my thing. Even when I was a teenager and I had no sense, I had better sense than that. I think Dad kind of taught me not to do those things.
I saw a guy one time to prove a point. Had a big cigar like New York City does today. Gas spilled out on the ground at the service station, and he put his cigar out in the gasoline.
There's a trick to that. I put cigarettes out in a bucket at JP8 before, but it's because the liquid isn't really flammable. It's the
That's
fumes.
right. It's the vapor that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
mixed with the air. So yeah, that's a whole nother. But yeah, that's proving the point. He's got some big testicles, brother. I hate to say, I wouldn't, even though I know how it works in theory, I ain't trying it.
Yeah.
You know,
Basically, he was drunk off his backside.
yeah, but
Yep.
it could work, but it also could not work.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with gas vaporizes so fast that it's just I'd be afraid. I wouldn't. Now smoking in Philip Picard done that 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Curtis asked me if I'm old enough to smoke. I quit about 3 years ago, and I quit before when I got out of the military. I quit for about 2 years, and man, I don't know what all got me back into it. Just stupidity. I started going out a little bit, and I tried this. I did this. This is a great number. They hold you know what? I'll just roll my own. It's such a pain in the ass that there's no way that I'll get back to smoking again. Yeah, that didn't work.
And
So then I went back and then I quit again about 3 years ago, fortunately. It's a weird thing, man, because I'm still one of those people, I still miss it, but I don't think about it too much.
Yeah. My term, I roll my own, is normally a different thing now. So when I'll post a picture and I'll say I roll my own, and
Yes,
people
sir.
will be like, huh? Right. So I roll my own ammo.
I thought about doing a T-shirt like that one time, roll my own, or I know what's in my ammo, or something like that.
Yeah. I was hearing, I think it was Jamie who was saying, and both of you guys, I was at the Walmart one time and I was picking up this cleaning rod, right? Just for my little 22. Just a little cleaning rod. And I go up to the counter and the lady was like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "It's a rod." It's like, come on, just do your job. Bring out my rod, She was like, "What is that?" I said, "It's a rod." "It's a rod for what?" I was like, for cleaning my rifle. I don't think nobody needs to have right. I'm like, "Look, can I just pay for my stuff?" And I was like, I was real professional with her. And it goes to saying, like Jamie was saying, you gotta be, you kind of gotta be, you gotta show a lot of professionalism with idiots or people who are uneducated in about guns. You know what I mean? Because maybe she learned it from watching the news or the media, or somebody having a bad experience. But I was thinking the same way, like, I ain't waiting on the police if something happens in my home. I am the defender and the protector of this home. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like some people don't have any common sense, man, when it comes to, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. I am trying to protect what's in this home, though, So I wish more people could kind of look at it from a different perspective. But sometimes, no matter how educated you are or how convincing, you're not going to convince everybody that all guns are not bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of etiquette.
Have you seen the Slim Cowboys videos, like him against Walmart?
Yes.
They're great, dude.
Yeah.
He's got 3 or 4 full on basically video series on events taking on Walmart. And he always comes out ahead. It's just the amount of time and ass pain that he puts in to try to combat. Because, I mean, look, there are people out there. I mean, let's face it. Here's an odd thing of being in this group, in my opinion. I personally am not out to stop anybody from doing anything that's legal, right? If I worked in an environment where I'm doing customer service, I cannot think of a time when I'm going to try to buffalo or stop a customer from buying or receiving my service based off of a political belief.
Correct.
But other people that tend to be on the other aisle from us, at least on this subject, they take it as like as a thing that's what they do. And it is very difficult to keep your cool and not to get frustrated, because it kind of goes against like principles. Like my principles have always been like, if you work for somebody, you're working for that person. You're working for their best interest. So I don't know, man, but that shit drives me nuts. Yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods. I will not go to a Dick's Sporting Goods. You know what happened to me the other day is I had to go out and buy jeans. Can't buy Levi's. Like I use my wallet to deter, basically if you're going to open your mouth about your dumb politics, then I will close my wallet to you if I think that, if I don't agree.
Sure.
And it's crazy how many companies feel the need to go out and do that. I mean, and I don't say to agree or disagree, but all the crap there a couple years back about gay marriage, it's like, keep it to yourself. And it's the same side of that coin to me. It's like, it's not your business to go out there and blah, blah, blah about how you feel about this. It's just not. If you don't want to do it, then you don't do it. I don't know. Anyway, enough of that politics shit.
Well, let me just add something to that, and then we'll be done with that, because I want to say something about that. It's not for me to say what you're doing is wrong. It's between you and God. I only have to stand up in front of God for what I did. I don't have to stand up in front of God for what you're doing or what you did.
Yep. Word, man. But then again, I'm a libertarian by nature. I'm just like, I don't care what you do. It's your business. It's not hurting me. I don't care.
Yep.
But they don't win elections, so it's kind of hard. But yeah. Anyway, range etiquette type stuff. I don't know. Anything else anybody wanted to cover?
I want to ask Big Al. Big Al, you got any questions for us about what's the biggest thing? What's the word? What's freaking you out most about reloading? If he's still out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen him for a while. In fact, I'll do a little shout out here until he gets back with us. We got Fuzzy Fork 8 out there, JCM 45, William C. Chapin, who's been ready to bounce out. I appreciate you coming out, man. I always like hearing from you, Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis, good man.
Yeah, he is. He helps out everybody. And it's funny because he sneaks up on you, right? He's like, kind of mild-mannered and stuff like that. Next thing you know, he throws some piece of information on you that you're like, holy shit, how did you know that? Like,
yeah.
It's really impressive. Anyway, Daniel God is my judge. I agree, man. I'm considering doing like some price matching stuff with Academy right now. I don't know. We'll see if I can get away with it. Uncle Jim, PC Bullet Empire. Hi, Tim. Thanks for the card, brother. I appreciate it. And my lack of unicorn dust was nice. Oh, Michael Signs had some really good comments tonight, man. I really do appreciate you coming out. MCK, Vanessa Kitty, as always. I don't know what a Carolina Reaper seed is. That sounds like something that's legal in Colorado.
It's pepper seed.
Warsaw Patriot, Jag 1. I don't know if I think we've talked before.
Lloyd Hicks, Michael Sims.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. Oh, yeah. Curtis, of course, man. You deserve more than just kind words. We need to be able to find a way to hook you up a little bit better. Thank you for what all you've done.
Before he gets off, let me say thanks, Curtis, for my dies. I appreciate it. He sent me some 8mm Mauser dies.
Nice of him.
He sure is. And
what a great community, huh?
Oh, yeah. Wanted to bring a shout out. I know I haven't seen the Swede in the chat, I don't think ever. But anyway, in case you guys know, Al Nelson of at NOE, I had a situation with USPS where somehow or another a package left Provo but didn't leave Provo and it never showed up. I put in a track or a request to kind of like investigate or whatever, and I sent Al an email and I said, hey, this is going on, just to let you know. And they just, without even telling me nothing, they just sent another one. Guys, he's a really good person to deal with. I've been dealing with Al now for about 10 years, I think 8 years maybe. Maybe it's been a long time, and he's always treated me really, really well. So if you need to cast bullets, molds, or some tools or things like that, give him a look on NOE Bullet Molds. There was a thing on there earlier about Mr. Holster. I wanted to say something to, and damn if I didn't forget about it.
That's way back there.
Yeah, that's way back there.
I think Michael Sines was saying something about somebody's doing a giveaway, giving away a gun, I think.
Yeah, and I don't remember who it was. That's why I'm Michael, if you're still around there, brother, go ahead and post something about that. I'm a big fan of Mr. Holster. I don't make a secret of that. So go take a look and see if you can help out anyway. I'm gonna definitely take a look because I didn't see that giveaway before.
I just want to say I'm sorry, guys.
You boned me.
To do the old daddy thing. Had to make sure my kids got some food and all that. That's what I've been doing. That's why I was on mute.
That's all right.
No, man, no worries, dude. I appreciate you guys coming out because I know that this stuff doesn't always hit everybody at the right time, especially when we do everything on Friday nights. And there's going to be nights when we can't, and we got to go feed the kids in the middle and deal with the grandkids and or whatever. And I really appreciate everybody coming out. I love hanging out with my friends and getting to meet new people. And
hell, I think we broke 40. I think we broke 40 tonight.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I thought it was 40. I thought it was 41.
41, awesome. That's really cool, guys. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, guys, and I appreciate all of y'all's support.
Uncle just as Nathan got a gun. I got my only gun I got was my Daisy. Now I did get an upper. I'm that much closer. Well, that much closer to having an AR. I ordered the BCG and charging handle. I think that's actually all I need. And then I know you guys hate to see it's probably gonna have to wait another month to afford to go buy dyes and brass and stuff for it because I've got a pretty limited hobby budget every month. So eventually I'm gonna get out there and shoot that beast. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Hey, you know what? When we were on here, I've been looking at the common range rules that you can just look up online, and most people who are active like us in the gun community or shoot regularly, we pretty much know. But if I could be so bold, like Jamie says, could I read off these? It's only 11 of them.
Yeah, man.
It's
absolutely.
Number one, follow the 4 rules of gun safety, and everyone should know those rules. Number 2, listen to the range officer if there's one there. Number 3, don't touch any firearm during a ceasefire. Number 4, don't bother active shooters, which I totally agree with that, unless they're doing something unsafe. Number 5, don't shoot firearms that go against the range rules. That's somebody's bringing that 50 BMG to that indoor range. Don't do it. Number 6, don't coach or correct. I kind of agree and disagree. It's, leave that up to interpretation. Number 7, don't hover. Number 8, everybody's going to agree with this. Never pick up someone's firearm without asking. Number 9, shoot one firearm at a time. Number 10, clean up after yourself. And number 11, have fun.
Yep.
Man, there's some good ones in there that I didn't even think about, like touching other people's guns. Jeez,
Yeah, don't touch my
can you
gun.
imagine that?
Right. Don't touch the dirty South PO7 in black, okay? Like,
Who has to be told that though? I mean,
people do. People do.
That's what I was thinking, Jamie.
I've had a guy. I got a guy when I was, emptying my Caldwell bag, pick up my AR and say, "Whoa, what are you doing?" He goes, "Yeah, I just wanted to check it out." I said, "Well, you asked. You don't ever touch a gun. You don't know the status of the gun, if it's got a flag in it, if it's loaded or what. So don't touch somebody else's gun." I said, "If you want to see it, let me safety the gun first, and then I'll be happy to show it to you. But make sure you keep it pointed down range, even if there's a flag in it."
Yeah.
Here's one that I think this comes from military training. How do you guys feel about somebody trying to get your attention while you're shooting? Like, how do you prefer that to go down? For me, just to tell you, for me, like if I'm trying to shoot and somebody's trying to get my attention, like for whatever reason, like I don't know whether I'm doing something unsafe, if the range has gone cold and I didn't know it, something. I prefer for somebody to kind of put their hand relatively firmly, don't just light me, but relatively on my right shoulder.
Yeah.
it's like that gets my attention and it doesn't startle me. And I think that's the way they did it when I was in the military. Is that they come down and they touch you on the right shoulder if they needed you to safety your weapon. So, and clear. I think that's why I do that. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I've been growing up. My uncles and my dad, my grandfather used to do us like say if we're shooting prone and whatever 22, whatever you're shooting, they would come up and like you said, firmly touch or grab the right shoulder. And I don't know if it's a mental thing. You kind of think of an authoritative figure. It kind of makes you stop and cease fire and do whatever you do. So I don't have a problem with that, as long as nobody do it. Don't come up and lightly tap me because I may not feel it. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm feeling the impact of a weapon. But it needs to be, in my opinion, kind of not firm, not aggressive, but just to get my attention. That I don't see a problem with that at all.
Yeah, I've always felt that was kind of an interesting thing because I didn't know, because I mean that's what I would do to somebody else if I saw them doing something that was unsafe. I'm gonna walk up, I'm gonna try to stop you, to keep from hurting yourself or something like that, and that's how I would do it because that's the way I liked it. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, the first thing I'm looking for is this right here. That means ceasefire, and yeah, y'all are right. If everybody's all ear protected up and can't hear anything and this, that, and the other, just a nice little squeeze on the shoulder to make you go, wait, what?
What's the problem?
Yeah, and that should be it,
Yeah.
Another thing I've seen at the range that's kind of crazy is people shooting tracer rounds. Like, what are you doing? Why are you shooting tracer rounds? Like, the guy got a big box tracer rounds, and he's upset because the range officer says you can't fire him. Well, you done shot 6, tracer rounds into his rubber backstop. You trying to cause a fire?
Yeah.
You want to burn the place down?
My bad.
Yeah, Vanessa and Floyd kind of go with the whole like "don't touch me" thing, and I get that. I'm a pretty "don't touch me" kind of have my sphere of leave me alone kind of ism. But with that, man, I've seen too many times, even with myself. I'm not gonna say I'm doing something dangerous, but like if I'm laid down and I'm really into what I'm doing, I've got double hearing protection in. I'm not gonna hear somebody most likely that I'm half deaf. And if the range has gone cold and I didn't notice it or something like that, that's the way I would go about it.
See that I kind of agree with them. I was not in the military, and with the hearing protection that we have, and that kind of shocked me when we went to the range. Scotsman, Kyle, Chico, and myself all have the same. We all wear Walker razors, and we can talk to each other in a normal voice, and it's fine. But I was not in the military. Somebody comes up and touches me while I'm trying to shoot, that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
That's going to startle me.
That's the question. It's like whether or not it would startle you or not. I didn't know. Interesting.
It would, and it would, Vanessa and Floyd, I believe, and that would startle me, and that might not be good.
Yeah. I mean, I would, anytime I'm going to go, well, unless it's somebody I'm working with, like if I'm working with loaded cap gun or something, I'll kind of touch her if she's got, malfunction or something. But if I was going up to a stranger, I would try to talk to them. I'd try to say something, try to get their attention verbally. But if that didn't work and it was a dangerous situation, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
that depends. If it's a dangerous situation, I'm not going to gently squeeze you on the shoulder.
Yeah, I would. I'd walk up and touch you.
Me and everybody else around me out of danger. So that's a totally different question, sir.
Yeah,
we're talking about somebody that didn't hear the range is cold or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
A dangerous situation.
Yeah,
that's a different animal.
Yeah.
One weird thing that I do, and it may not be, you guys probably, we're almost all alike. You're not going to think it's weird, I don't think. When I'm at the range, I'm always, just like I am in real life, my situational awareness is like my radars are, so I'm looking this way and that way. Anytime, if I see that door open from my side, like someone's coming onto the range, I'm looking, so if someone's standing behind me, I'm kind of looking like, okay, let me see what he's doing. Is he enjoying watching me shoot, or does he have something to say to me? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of aware of my surroundings when I'm at the range, especially if I'm there by myself. So if someone has to say something, we make that eye contact, and then I cease fire and everything. Also,
You just nailed it right there, Chico. You just nailed it. Number one rule of range etiquette is situational awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, be aware of what's going on around you, and that's walking through life, guys.
yeah, that's the same. Like I said, same thing I do at home. I see somebody coming to the range and they got their little 308 walking down.
Why you keep pulling?
I'm like, hey, look,
man.
I'm tapping on the window like, hey, come get dude up out of here because it's gonna be a prop. You know what I mean? But I don't have a problem with people not having bags. You know what I'm saying? Some people do, some people don't. It's all on how they're carrying it. If they're carrying it and their fingers, if their finger is on the bang switch, I got a problem with that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's everybody's gonna have their different opinions based on different areas of the country or whatever. So.
Well, we were in a hurry today, and we scooped the kids up and took them to McDonald's. We had to take the Rigby home, and she's been here since Christmas Eve, and she gave me this cold I got now, but God love her. But so we scooped the kids up, getting in a hurry because you got all the kids, you got all their Christmas stuff you got to take back home and all this kind of stuff. And I ran out without my firearm, which I don't usually do, and then I stopped and had to run into Lowe's for a second, and I got out of the car and I realized that my pants were falling half down, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I don't have my firearm.
Yeah.
And then I started feeling naked, and for the next 10 minutes walking around Lowe's, I was constantly pulling my pants up. You just got to walk through life being aware of what's going on around you. And
Jamie sagging in Walmart today.
no, I wasn't at Walmart. I was in Lowe's. And in that crowd, they're contractors, man. That didn't stand out.
Yeah, exactly. That's just normal.
That's normal.
That's what I was thinking. It's cleaned up on aisle 12.
And that rule thing, another one was hovering, and I get that. I used to get that a lot because I would shoot. I don't shoot as much when it's busy like I used to, and when it's busy, you'll have people that can like minute a pie plate at 15 yards, and the next thing you know, they're watching what you're doing, and the next thing you know, they're getting closer and closer. Then they're standing right over top of you, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing? Get the hell off me, man!" It's like, give me some room. Good grief. Yeah, I've had that happen a lot where people they don't mean anything by it. They're just trying to figure out what you're doing different.
Yeah, why are all of your bullets going in that little red circle right there, and theirs are not? But look, everybody's got their space, and it varies for every person. But there's a point where nobody but my wife gets that close to me, and she's got a license, buddy.
She got the pass, right?
She's got a skin on the wall saying she has permission. But yeah, Vanessa says even her husband knows not to touch her while she's at the range.
The other thing I would say too, guys, and back to the topic we were talking about before, is if you've got people that say they ain't take a gun, it's your job to educate them. I offer, hey, why don't I take it to the range? And you've never shot a gun, and you got an opinion. Why don't I take it to the range? We'll go there. I'll spend some time with you. You can shoot a couple of my rifles, and you can see what it is to shoot a gun. And I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, they say, "Wow, it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't so bad." And I said, "And what gun are we shooting?" I said, "This is an AR-15. Look at the size of these tiny little bullets.
Mm-hmm.
These tiny little bullets. They're 22 caliber rounds. What the Boy Scouts shoot 22s." So we're talking about people that have never shot a gun. You take them to the range. And I got to tell you, it's about 15 people that work for me in my company that were completely against guns and now own guns. All because I took the time to say, hey, why don't you come out and I'll show you how to use it. If you ever want to shoot it, at least you could say, I've got an opinion, but I've shot a rifle before at a range. And I know I've shot an AR and I shot a pistol. And after shooting it, they can either say it's not for me or say, hey, I don't have a problem with this anymore. Once you educate
that is a very awesome story, sir.
Yep.
I really do appreciate that, and thank you for doing that.
So we all need to do,
Yep.
Exactly. That's what we all need to do.
Man,
I got a
it's
sister-in-law that I took her son shooting, took my nephew shooting, and she was all nervous. I said, you know what? Instead of being nervous, why don't you come out to the range with me, you and me, go out there and shoot. Damned if she wasn't in 10 minutes bullseyeing every single round. She was a natural born shooter, and her whole opinion,
Nice.
the whole opinion, just maybe spent 20 minutes of her how to shoot, how to aim, how to line it up, and she's bullseyeing everyone. I say, look, you're a natural born shooter. You never knew this, but you have a gift. And she goes, oh no, I'm not shooting well. I said, you're getting every single one into the bullseye. You've got great skills, and you never knew it. I said, now you know how to shoot a gun. You know it's not something that you don't take seriously, but you now know how to shoot a rifle, and you don't have to be afraid of having one in the home. Going out and shooting.
That's killer, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, education does have a habit of beating phobia, and that's something that it's funny how, in a certain way, anytime somebody doesn't agree with somebody, there's a phobia pulled in, but not with guns. And I agree that there is. I think there is a firearm phobia, where people are just terrified of them for really no real reason. I mean, I've run across that several times. You're the man. I work at a school, and I'll tell you what, there is no way I'm asking somebody, like, hey, somebody's like, oh, down with guns. I'm like, wait, you want to go shoot some of mine? Nah. Nah.
Well,
So my hat's off to you, man. Sometimes I wish I could pull that stuff, but not the environment.
Yeah.
what a lot of it is, Nathan, is actually people are told from the time that they're kids. Guns are bad. Guns, don't do this, and guns are bad. Whatever. Then they actually go and actually pull the trigger on one, and I don't care what it is. Single shot 22, AR-15, 12 gauge, 243, 308. I mean, it doesn't matter. They pull the trigger on one and go, oh, wow, that went right where I wanted it to go. Oh, that's cool. Can we put something else out there for me to shoot at?
Yep.
I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah, and see, that's probably people's environment, who they're raised up around, their parents or whoever has trained them or raised them, or even what environment or state they have lived in. They probably, what area they lived in. If there's a no gun policy, XYZ, people are going to have that perception of all guns are bad, and you can just leave this gun right here and it'll go off. Not unless it's a SIG 320 or something like that. Forgive me, but forgive me, guys. I'm just talking, but you guys know what I'm saying. Guns. I seen a video where a guy was saying he left his shotgun on his porch. It was one of those Southern videos, and he was like, man, I left my shotgun in a wheelchair all day, and people was driving by, stopping, like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, man, this shotgun been here all day. It ain't shot nobody. I understood his point, but it's probably, like I said, what people environment or what people they has raised them and taught them, no, you're not supposed to. Guns are bad. Go get your bow and arrow or something. Then I don't know.
I personally, I can tell you, I tend to think that if you don't really know mechanical things, it's funny, man, because I've run across so many different people now. Like when I was working with my hands and I was in like the mechanical maintenance world, I rarely run across people that are like, I don't know the right word, but afflicted, right? They're the type of person that shocks themselves 3 or 4 times a year. They're just the type of people that things just happen to because they don't grasp this. And those people, like, I've met a lot of those kinds of people who are terrified of guns because they're so complicated, and the end result of using them poorly is death. And it's like, I'm kind of okay with them being scared of them, but there is a lot to be said for education and how much that can help somebody get over it,
Yep.
But it is weird, man, because if you walk into one circle, like, you won't see so much of other stuff. Like, now that I'm at, a university, I see that fairly often. So I was surprised to find out how many people that just, like, when they're going to go do something, like put something together, you're looking at it, you're like, what in the hell are they doing? And it's like, that's not, yeah.
Aren't you kind of in charge of teaching them how to do that shit?
No, sir. I'm not a teacher. I'm the worst of the worst. I'm an administrator.
Ah.
That explains that haircut.
Yes, sir. I work with adult students is what I do because I went back to school as an adult and a veteran, and it was very difficult. So that's what I do now for the school is try to ease that for other students that are trying to do the same thing.
That's cool, man. I really like that haircut. I'm just picking at you.
Oh no, it's all right, man. I needed it, man. I hate it when my hair gets long and I get raggedy looking.
Like,
As Uncle Jim would say, you got your hair cut like that for society.
For society. But here's the one thing I found in my life: there are very few things that you can actually save money by putting it off. They don't charge you more at the barber to cut off more hair. So if you put it off a month, you just saved yourself $20, right?
Mhm.
Yes,
dude,
sir. That's some Christmas savings.
Get an estimate, man. And another thing, when I was in high school, there was, and I lived in town,
Damn it.
and it was a small town, but most of the guys drove pickup trucks, and they had like 30-30 lever actions hanging in the back, or shotguns hanging on the back rack of their pickup trucks. You always tell the guys that were probably selling dope because they had these nice new little cars, you know. About once a month or so, the police would come by and want us to check somebody's car and this, that, and the other. But back then,
Come on, Uncle Jim, say it with me. Typical.
Typical. Michael Sands, he cuts his own hair. Man, I did that stuff for a while. Like when I was in the military, when you're deployed, you end up cutting each other's hair, and I ended up cutting a fair amount of people's hair for a while. So then I started just doing my own. But what I found is, like, the longer my hair gets, the more incapable I am of doing it. Like, if I'm just trimming it up, I can keep that up for a little while, but now I just I've got a good old barber shop down here that's like two old guys that have been doing it for 100 years. I like going to them.
I don't really have anything stylish.
Yeah.
I've been cutting my own hair since I was 18 years old.
Think about all that money you saved, right? One day you should just calculate all that.
Matter of fact, it looks like it's time for one because I see on the replay that I'm poofy. I shouldn't be poofy. I'm poofy.
Oh, man.
I like going to my barber, man. My barber is an old Italian guy, and it's like go there and talk about all the guy stuff. So it's kind of fun, you know. It's kind of fun.
I have a mental image of you going to the barber, by the way.
I would totally go there, but I don't have a really cool barber. I've got a great clips and my bedroom. That's about it.
yeah, the stories at those barbershops are worth the price of a haircut.
Oh yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
hell yeah, it's great. Yeah. 10, 12, $15. Hell yeah.
Yep.
So I got two people that cut my hair. One's a girl that I went to high school with. I tend to go to her more often. And the other is the brother of the property owner where I hunt. And me and him throw chickens and stuff like that together. And
You throw
he is,
chickens.
yeah, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, you're going to have to because I'm confused.
Well, they own it, and they have 4 500-foot chicken houses. And when the baby chicks come in, part of what I do in exchange for being able to hunt there.
Oh, you're talking about slinging the dead ones.
No, I'm talking about dropping the live baby chicks into the chicken houses.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we'll do 500,000. Well, 100,000. Last time I went, we did 112,000 in 2 hours.
Are you sure?
They come in little trays. They're kind of like milk crates. There's 100 in each one. But anyway, yeah, he's got where he's wide open. He's more of putting on a show than cutting hair. So he tries to be a comedian. I ain't got time for that. I want my hair cut. If you're not going to be like the guys that Kevin and Nathan are talking about, and which is probably why I go to Stacy more often because she went to high school with me and she knows all the same people we grew up with together and a lot of reminiscing.
Yeah, those guys that do mine, there's one dude I can barely understand him. I don't know if he's had throat cancer at some point in his life or not, but his voice is very, very like strained. And I'm partially deaf, and he's got the clippers going. He's talking to me, asking all kinds of questions. I get about every third word. But I love it, man. It's a good deal. It's a good experience. Big Al says something about hates the guy who wants to show him what he's doing wrong, and he's shooting at 12 yards and he's blowing the X ring out, and the other guy's shooting at 7. Man, I've got a guy down here that does that, and he's a nice guy. He means well. But he shows up, he's got the big snorkel on his tactical ride, and he's got all the bags and all the shit. I'm like, okay, all right. Then he goes out there and he gets it, ammo dumps everything he tries to load, and he shoots about 8 inches at 8 yards, and then he's telling me about how good of a shot he is. And yeah, buddy, he's a nice guy though. Would you want to ask Big Al there? Because Jamie, we're about 10 o'clock here, so I see him back on.
I'm wondering if Big Al had any questions about reloading. What's the biggest anxiety about it? Now, I can tell you right now, the biggest thing you're going to have to overcome, Big Al, is taking those first rounds you load to the range and putting them in your gun and sending them down range. Get by that, you're going to feel the sense of accomplishment is going to be so much better than the anxiety you felt before. Well, Big Al, I was talking to a Scotsman earlier, and we want to make sure you're doing it right. And when you get feeling a little better, buddy, you can come on here with us and we'll answer your questions. I think that would be a cool topic one Friday night for us to help somebody new to the hobby get going, and I think that would be a fun show. So if you're up for that, let me know, and we'll see if we can get you on there. West Desert Shooter just showed up. Hey, buddy, glad you could join us.
Yeah, Big Al says he's getting kind of nervous. Tons of questions. Yeah, man, I guess it can be kind of nervous. I mean, just like anything else, learning a new skill and trying to make sure that you're doing it right. But I think he's kind of going one caliber, and then Forster's gonna force you to be pretty attention to detail there, or detail oriented, which is always good. WDS, I appreciate you showing up, man. It's 10 o'clock and we're about ready to sign off. I hate it. I guess I need to start every once in a while doing something maybe a little bit later on. I don't know. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good people out here for darn sure. We had I think somebody said 41 viewers earlier, so it's been a pretty hopping place. And I know I appreciate everybody coming out. We next week, because we're getting close to 10. So next week we've got pretty much the same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to have everything running again. I don't know if we're going to be doing any specific topic or have a guest next week. I don't know. We haven't talked about that yet, but we'll think about it and we'll see if there's somebody that we want to invite and get on. I know there's a lot of people we want to invite and have on, because we've had a lot of people that have either asked and or that we've wanted to have on before and haven't had time. So yeah, we'll be on next week. I'm not sure what the content will be, but I know I look forward to it. And everybody wants to kind of give their spiel, what they're up to. I'll tell you, I'll go first before we set it off. I've got a couple of videos out. I'm going to finish this one with the powder measure deal. It was from Gun Fun and Charlie Brass Stuffer. They were talking about running different powders through your powder measures. And what I did was I took my Hornady lock and load powder measure, and I used the small pistol, the rifle, and the bench rest insert meters for each powder and showed how each one of them did. And some of the results are actually a little bit surprising. So I'm looking forward to getting that out. Should have that out here soon. I'm going to say this again, even though I didn't do it last week. I'm hoping to be able to get back on the Reloaders, the weekly recaps tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? No, today's Friday. So Sunday. So that's what I got going on. And eventually, I'm going to do something on my upper, and then starting with the 450, and then eventually, hopefully, someday get to the range with the 32 mag. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up. Hopefully, you guys want to go around the horn there?
Sure. Hey guys, thanks for being here. Let me see what I got going on is these 45 load development. I'm working with 3 different powders, Tight Group, CFE pistol, and HP 38. I wanted to work with this Shooter's World powder, but it's a little scary. Al, I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. So that's what I'm working on. I've done some more upgrades to my Dylan Betsy Blue over here for Christmas, rather. And I am very soon again going to start back posting my content over here on the Reloaders Network. And it's one thing, when I go to the range, especially since I've got these, I start leaving a few of these on their board. You know, I don't tell them, hey, I got a YouTube and check this out, because that kind of like being arrogant or something like that. So that's what I'm working on. 45 ACP semi-watt cutter load development. Find out what's going to be the best for me for these beauties. And that's it for me. Thanks for being here, guys. Side chats off the chain too.
That's a good looking bullet, man.
Oh, thank you, brother. You guys helped me out. I can't take credit at all.
What mold are you cutting those out of?
That's that RCBS 45201 KT bullet. It's that one I got. It's an older RCBS mold. And
okay, yeah, I remember now.
Same bullet, just 2 different powder coats. Thanks, brother.
A killer bullet.
Yeah, semi-wide cutter. So Nathan's familiar with it. A lot of other guys are also, but yeah. So I'm just trying these different powders, and that's about it, man. See if I can determine the correct amount of accuracy for this bullet, and that way I can crank them out like I want to. But that's it, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for interacting side chat. Sorry if I missed any of you guys' questions.
All right, guys. I got some 44 Magnum coming up. I'm going to be loading up some of the bullets that good old Georgia Boy 44 sent me. Gonna have some fun with that. I'm gonna play around with some trail balls and some little gun, 1680. I don't know, H110. We're gonna have some fun. Haven't ever messed with any of these bullets before, but it'll be fun. For Survival Sunday, damn, that sounded real redneck, didn't it? For Survival Sunday. Anyway, I'm waiting on the weather to cooperate. I want to evaluate the Tax Bivy and the emergency bivy, and I don't know. I've got a couple of them here. I wanted to go through some of that because somebody said they wanted to see something about. I think it was actually Georgia Boy wanted to talk about shelters and stuff like that. It hadn't quit raining for me to make the damn video, which I guess would be the perfect time to make the video if I had waterproof camera, but I don't. So, other than that, man, it's just been fun. I'm glad I'm feeling better, and I've got a couple of packages ready to mail out, and y'all should be seeing them soon. Those who are expecting them should know. Carry on.
Mr. New York, what you got going on?
I'm going to be reloading some. I'm going to be actually casting some 9mm and coming up with some inexpensive loads across the spectrum. I'm going to be doing some inexpensive 223, inexpensive 9mm. I'm going to be loading with Tight Group, using about 3 grains or 4 grains for AR, which is nice. Going to the range, you're shooting under 200 yards. You know, a lot of people don't realize you can cast your bullet, you can shoot it, sub velocities, and you can load it with 4 grains of Tight Group, and you can get a nice flat trajectory out to 200 yards. So, everybody's reloading their rifle brass so hot. There's no reason to do that if you're just plinking at the range. And, for 9mm, it's nice to be able to reload 9mm for 3 or 4 cents a piece, So coming up with some loads. I know everybody likes to run them hot, but one of my things I like to do is run them economical too. So unless I'm shooting far, I want to come up with some formulas to show people, hey, you can do this a lot cheaper. Make some cheap rounds for AR. You make some cheap rounds for 9mm. Then I'm going to start going into reloading on 308, 300 Blackout, and then I'm going to start showing some reloading on 338 Lapua. That's going to be all store-bought bullet heads. Obviously not going to do any cast on those. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on.
That 338 Lapua stuff's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive.
Oh, it's going to be expensive as shit. Yeah, I know that. It's like all the shotgun reloading that everybody else is doing. I'm like, damn you guys, you're going to make me buy another press.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to try to make me buy another rifle, asshole.
Well, hey, if that's the case and you're worried about money, Kyle, you might be able to unload that 550 on me and use that to help out.
What you need?
So you might be able to unload that Dylan press on me that you hate.
No,
and,
no, I understand. How many dies you need? How many? What you got?
I got nothing, man.
Oh, then hell, I ain't even looking for a 338 yet. What I want's a damn 50, but God Almighty!
Problem with those is the cost, and the barrel life on those is just not long at all, man. You know,
It's
you get
stupid.
1,000
You
rounds
gotta
out of
buy
it,
a
2,000
damn
rounds.
barrel every fucking. Excuse me. This is we're not on private yet. You got to buy a barrel every 600 shots. You know, I mean, damn. And you only get 4 reloads out of a pound of powder.
Yeah, that is not an economical way to go.
Oh hell no! You can even cast your own if you have your own lead mine and lose money by shooting that bastard.
Okay,
yeah, the 338 is that's a great cartridge. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, y'all go ahead. Sorry.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're trying to wind this thing up. We still have 27 viewers on, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. And like I said, it's like our decompression time. I want to do a special thanks to Kevin at New York City Reloader for coming on with us tonight. Dude, you're a pleasure to have on, and you are a fine gentleman and a credit to your mama and daddy.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I think the same about y'all.
Well, we appreciate every time you want to come on here. And we got what I got going on is I have 2 sets of 35 Remington. This is going to finish off our preliminary shooting testing of 35 Remington. I've got 25 loaded with Shooter's World Tactical Rifle that there was no what's that look for, Chico? It's okay.
No, I'm reading a side chat. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm listening, Jamie. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Shooter's World Tactical Rifle. And I had to do some serious calculating with see, it has 30-30 data on the bottle, and I had to find what would translate and so forth, powder burn rate charts and all that. So that's going to be my next video. And then load number 9 is Hornady Lever Revolution, all with the cast bullets. I've got both sets of those ready to go to range and test. As I said earlier, Mr. Chapin sent 8mm Mauser dies. So we're going to be doing some 8mm stuff. I'm thinking of, we were talking about the range. I'm thinking of building myself a cart. Because where we go up to the range up at Johns
Mountain. Yeah.
It's about, 100 yards from where you park to where
that's a good
Yeah,
7,500.
park. Yeah.
So I'm thinking of building a cart to haul all of my stuff up there, up to the top of the hill to shoot.
So you're not thinking of streamlining all the stuff that you want to take and shoot? You
No,
just want to
because
build a platform to tote it.
Well, it's an hour's drive up there. We pay $5 to park. I want to be there till I'm done. I want to get everything done that I want to get done. And if I got to shoot 2 loads of 35 Remington stuff, that's 50 rounds. You got to let your barrel cool down to do all that.
God bless you, brother. You put it in the right way. By God, if I'm going to drive all the way up there, I'm going to get done what I want to get done.
I think next time I bring a dustpan and a broom because I got a lot of brass.
Oh, that's my brass pile, Chico. But thanks for another great Friday night, guys. It looks like KFW tagged me in a winter versus summer challenge, so I've got another video to make. Thanks again to Kevin. Thanks again to Nathan for hosting us. And thanks to all you guys that have dropped in to visit with us on a Friday night. Y'all kind of make our weeks. And just thank you for being you. And we'll see y'all next Friday night. I was going to plug Uncle Jim's hat chat, but he wouldn't give me a definite answer. He's thinking of New Year's Eve, but he may have one tomorrow night. So be watching out for Uncle Jim notification.
No. Well, no, bad Jim. No, Jim, bad. No.
Yeah, there's as far as I'm hoping for a New Year's night. Look, NYC Reloader just went over 200 subscribers, so go over there, take a look at his channel. There's a lot of really good information. Even if you're just interested in how best to trim your rifle brass, he's got a good channel for that for sure. But guys, I really do appreciate it. We're going to be on the same time next week. Go check out thereloadersnetwork.com, and that's where most all of us are at. Well, definitely all of us on the panel. There's a function called Slack. There's directions on how to get to Slack from thereloadersnetwork.com. And we go in there and chat. You can talk with us about anything or ask questions. I'm hoping that Uncle Jim does do the New Year's Eve chat. That'll be really a lot of fun. Thomas Pickering says, thanks for all the work I do. Buddy, I don't do that much work. I appreciate all the work everybody else does. But all right, everybody have a good night and have a safe and happy New Year, and go shoot and have fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.